What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Welcome to Pigweed Farms. If you haven't been here before, my name is Seth. I'm the owner operator of Pigweed Farms, and we are glad you are here today. Before we get into today's video, make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. It just helps us be able to grow. Make sure you ring that little notification bell right beside it, and it'll alert you anytime that we post future content. All right, let's get on to today's video. I'm trying to learn to stand into the sun and not away from it. But today's video is 5 reasons why you should start a homestead. Just a quick little insight. There is a difference between farmstead and homestead. We fall under farmstead. The only main difference that I have seen, farmsteads make money with their livestock. Homesteading just does self-sufficiency. That's homesteading. Here on the farmstead or farm, we're just a farm. We have chickens. We do have some mini cows. I don't know where they went. I think they seen me pull the camera out and left. We have 2 Black Angus calves that we're raising. So, and we have ducks. We have ducks too. But today we're going to try to send you over the edge into starting a farmstead or homestead. A bunch of the steps are the same, but we're going to go over a few. We're going to go over 5 today. Such a beautiful day out here today. It is just amazing. This morning it was just ugly outside this morning, and it had rained all weekend. It was miserable, gloomy outside, and I asked the Lord this morning. I said, Lord, if you could make it sunny this afternoon, so I could film a video this afternoon when I get home, I said it would be wonderful. And look what we got. But reason number 1, I got me a little note list here because I'm severely ADHD and ADD, and I go down rabbit holes. Food security and self-sufficient. So, food security, what that means is, Dale's chasing the ducks. Get him, Dale. Remember, that chicken will get you. So, self-sufficient, or food security. Alright, guys, now that I got y'all on the tripod and I can talk with my hands, because I'm bad about talking with just one hand when I'm holding the camera. But self-sufficiency and food security. Food security is a big one for us. I don't know if y'all have seen in the grocery store, the eggs nowadays. The price on eggs are $9-10 a dozen for organic eggs. But us having chickens and everything, we don't buy eggs. We haven't bought eggs in a while. As of right now, we don't have enough land just for us in the mornings. But we're growing our enterprises, or growing our business. So, different ways you can do all this. What I recommend, my opinion, before everybody in the comments starts getting all over me, my opinion is this. If you're starting a homestead in 2025, I would start off with chickens or ducks if you can. They're going to be your cheapest starter. All of our chickens here, all of our ducks here, we raise from a bitty. What that means, we raise them from a baby. Now, either we hatch them or we go buy them. None of these birds that are here have been raised or we have bought full grown. I don't recommend doing that because you risk spreading diseases to your flock that you already have. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but there is some more risk in it. But different ways you can be self-sufficient and have food security to be able to sell or be able to eat is eggs from the ducks, from the chickens. Meat birds, we're doing meat birds this year. That hasn't came out yet on YouTube, but it is now. So we're doing meat birds this year. We're going to do, I think we're down to about 37 or 38. We're going to try it to see how it works. If it doesn't work out good, we're probably not going to do them again and just swap over to egg layers. There's a lot less work that goes in to egg layers. But even if you don't want to, you're scared of chickens or you don't want to start out with chickens and ducks, you can start out with goats. You can start out with sheep. Buy you a couple sheep. Buy you a couple goats. I recommend buying purebreds. Don't buy out of somebody's backyard that's got 300 and they done inbred with each other. There is a real life risk with doing that. We learned from our mistakes. I bought 10 a couple years ago, and the guy had 10 or 200 of them in a pen, and they would just mix breed, inbred, and he didn't tell me to begin with that's what was going on. He told me that they had been all pulled, but we ended up losing every one of them just because of diseases that form when they're being cluttered into one spot. Now we know, we've grown from that. But you can start off with goats. You can start off with sheep, buy you 4 or 5 sheep. Sheep are really hot right now. People want a lot of money for them. Or if you want to start off with cows. We have 2 Black Angus calves back here that we kept off of our calf crop this year after we sold all of our cows. Cows are really expensive. They're really expensive this year. I tell y'all this just to say, you know, if you're wanting to start out and you want to start out small, I recommend starting with chickens, starting with ducks. You know, just my kids love it. They come out here, they mess with them, they're collecting eggs, and just the whole 9 yards. It's just a great way of living. You know, but there's multiple different ways you can start on a farm. You know, you start small. I highly recommend starting small. You know, don't sit here and jump into 200 cows and 500 chickens and 2,500 goats or whatever. Because at the end of the day, when you jump into a big thing like that, you're going to get stressed out because you got so much money tied up in it. And you're not going to know what to do. And it's just unneeded stress. Fun fact about stress and anxiety. Scientists have proved that having chickens and ducks help with anxiety and stress levels in humans. They bring them down. They are a great, just all around. I love coming out here in the yard and just piddling with them. And Dale, wherever Dale went. Dale, where'd you go? Oh, he's over at the house. He'll get out here and start chasing them, and he has a blast with them. But we're going to move on to reason number 2. All right, guys, reason number 2 to start a farmstead in 2025 is healthier and cleaner food. So when you go buy chicken from the grocery store, when you go buy eggs from the grocery store, beef, I don't think you can buy goat in a grocery store. But, you know, just your normal chicken, beef, pork, whatever, you know, they really don't watch what goes into their food. You know, they're just sitting here feeding them to fatten them up and turn around and flip them and put them on a butcher. So here on the farm, I'll get you some cool shots here in just a second. But our ducks, our chickens, they are out all the time. 12 hours a day when we had the sunlight, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They are out here. They are foraging. They're doing what God created them to do. God created them to come out here and thrive off the land. And that is exactly what our chickens and ducks do. Our cows do the same thing. Some people say you need to feed them to give them the extra, but there's enough. We're in South Alabama, so our ground stays real moist most of the time until we have a bad drought year. But there's a bunch of bugs and stuff that they just love to eat. And they walk around and they find it and they eat it. And, you know, one of the big things here on the farm, we keep our feed costs down. That is another thing if you're going to start a homestead, figure out how to keep your feed costs down. It's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. But just having them out here thriving, you know, we know what's going in them. We're not sitting here putting a bunch of steroids and antibiotics and, you know, hormones and different stuff in their food to feed them. I don't agree with that. You know, I'm not one of them crazy end of life or end of the world people, but you know, we do watch our inputs on here because, you know, it's just one of those deals where if I'm not going to eat it, I'm not going to feed it to them. You know, other than grass, I'm not going to come out here and eat grass. I don't like salad either, but that's the biggest thing. You know, you want to sit here and watch what you're feeding them. You don't want to feed them all this junk, and because chickens are prone to heart attacks. If you didn't know that, if they get too fat, their heart can't keep up. It's the reason our meat chickens are the same way. We do feed them a high protein feed, but it's an organic feed. So it ain't got all the extra byproducts and just crud in there. And that's also the reason at 8 to 10 weeks, a meat chicken has to be butchered because they get so fat they can have a heart attack. But that's reason number 2. Healthy food, healthy chickens. Our chickens are healthier than ever. We have when we hatch our eggs in the morning, they're really orange. The yolk is really orange. They say that is a sign of them eating really healthy, them eating everything that they need to be eating, and they're getting all the vitamins and everything of life that they need. So that's another free ranging hack too. But move on to reason number. All right. So another thing is financial stability. So when you buy all these chickens and you're sitting here, you're feeding them the most expensive feed you can get, and you're selling your eggs at X amount of dollars, there's not going to be a lot of profit margin in there. So like here, like we just talked about in the recent clip, was we free range our chickens, we keep our feed costs down. I'm big on feed cost. If I have to feed them and they cost more than what I can make off of them, I'm not going to keep them. Keeping an animal that's going to cost more to feed it than what you can make out of it is a waste of time. So free ranging our chickens, if you can free range at least for 4 or 5 hours a day, that's great. That way you can keep your feed costs down. But financial stability. So what we put into these chickens, we do give them scratch feed every now and then. We're just not heartless people. We give them a little bit of scratch feed, but for the most part, they have to thrive. So they have to thrive on the land. Living off the land is a big deal with us. How can we make a good amount of money off what we have? We'll discuss another part of that later in the video. But like I said, so we sell our eggs for $5 a dozen. Well, if we keep our feed costs down to a minimum, just say, I don't know what a good feed cost number is because I've never had to do it. But, most what we sell our eggs for at $5 a dozen is almost profit. Almost all profit. Other than if you want to calculate in the cost of feeding them up to laying, or up to when they can go outside, which is around that 10 to 11 or 8 to 12 week mark, depending on the breed. Dale, I done told you to quit chasing them chickens or chasing them ducks. But where was I at? But like I said, with not having the big feed costs every week, most of our eggs, if we were selling right now, like we're planning to do here in the next coming months, most of that is pure profit. So, like I said, if you wanted to calculate in what you got in raising them to go outside, because once our go outside, they're in the coop for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they free range. We leave them in the coop long enough for them to realize that this is home, that they don't have to sleep in the trees and everything. We want them to be inside the coop where it's warm, it's comfortable, they're protected. So if you want to calculate all that in, you might run into a little bit more money, but we're not going to calculate it in. It's worth the money to watch our kids grow up with them, laugh about them, and play with them. And I'm trying to get up to where my kids can one day take over. If they don't want to have a normal job, they can farm, run a farmstead. But we're going to move on to reason number 4. All right, guys, sustainability. Sustainability is a big one. So this is the way I look at it. Eggs are expensive. Even beef is expensive. Whatever you're eating is expensive nowadays. So if you can grow it on your farm and be able to harvest it, off your farm, go into your house and you eat it, you are real sustainable. I mean, it's just simple as that. Our eggs that we eat every morning, I walk out of the coop, I get a couple eggs, or I get all the eggs out, take them inside, fry up some, and we don't have to, that's one less thing we have to worry about going to the grocery store about. I don't think we're going to slaughter these steers that we have. I think we're just going to sell them for profit and let somebody else finish raising them out. But if we were to kill one or butcher one and put it in the freezer, beef is one less thing you have to worry about going to the grocery store for. So you can turn around and raise a bunch of animals like chickens, meat chickens. That's a big. Meat prices are high. if you had chicken in the freezer, lay out a pack of chicken, one less thing you got to buy at the grocery store. Fruits, vegetables, you grow during the spring, during the summer, one less thing you got to buy. Duck eggs, you can't even buy. I don't think you can buy duck eggs in the store. At least not down here. You can't. I ain't seen none. But everybody's trying to live a healthier lifestyle nowadays, and we try to here as much as possible. And it's just people are now realizing what all goes into their food. But sustainability is a big one. You can sit here and just you can get home from work and walk out of the coop, grab you a couple of eggs out, go inside, fry them up, grab you some bell peppers off your bell pepper plant, and put them in the eggs with them. I heard that's really good in an omelet. If you killed a dang pig, go in there, cut you up some ham, throw in your omelet. Didn't have to go to the grocery store. Self-sustainable, son. Let me tell you, you're self-sustainable. But we're going to go ahead and move on to reason number 5. Alright guys, the last reason we're going to end this video off is peace and having a purpose and a connection to nature. So the biggest thing, like, I know for me, for instance, like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm real ADHD, ADD. I was diagnosed as a kid with it. I can't sit still. I'm a boat mechanic during the day, so I have something to do all the time. But having a purpose in life is a big thing. People that sit here and don't have anything to do, they get depressed, get stressed out. Dale, stop. Come here. But, having a purpose in life is so much more than what money can buy. You sit here and, like I said in the recent clip, you can come out here and check your eggs. Take you some time to come check your eggs, fill up their water bowl, feed them if you're feeding them, and you can come out here and just breathe. Something that you can't get in an office job. I know a bunch of people work office jobs, and kudos to y'all. Y'all are a lot better than I am, because if I was locked in an office job all day, I'd probably tell you something, I'd go crazy. Because I get bored real easy. But having a purpose, you come outside and you can check on the chickens, check on the ducks, check on the cows. If you had pigs, you can go rub them on their belly, they'd fall over. If you had one that was nice enough, come tend to your garden. Gardening is something we're going to get real big on this year. I'd love to plant a big garden, but chickens and the ducks would tear it up. It's just having a purpose in life. Everybody's got to have a purpose. You may be watching this video trying to figure out your purpose if you want to start a farmstead this year, and I 100% recommend it. Having chickens and ducks, having something to do outside, and it brings your stress level down. When I get home in the afternoon and I'm real stressed out, I walk out here, especially on a nice, pretty day like this, and let the boys play in the yard, and me and Mama come out here, we check on her chickens, and just relax. But another thing too is it's real awesome. Like I said in the beginning, we grow all of our chicks from biddies if we don't hatch them out. We're trying to hatch out all of ours this year. We're going to have to probably end up buying some more to be able to get our egg amount up to its fullest potential. But watching that chick grow from a little bitty day old chick to 4 or 5 month old chicken out here running around, 4 or 5 month old duck running around out here, it's just so much. It's awesome. You plant your garden this year. If you want to be a vegetable gardener and don't want to fool with animals because you got to feed them, fire you up a garden. You sit there and you watch that little bitty seed grow till its fullest potential. Grow to your fullest potential. God put you here on earth for a reason. That's to find your passion, find your potential. If your passion is gardening, grow you a garden. If your passion is watching chickens grow, do it. It's an awesome way of life. People sit here and get mad and upset, because they ain't doing what they want to do in life, make that change. You know, make that bump into what you want to do. I can go ahead and tell you, if I had to work in the office all day, I'd go crazy. They'd have to put me in the psych ward. But guys, I just want to come out here and just make this video. I think it's going to be a good one. You know, like I said, like and subscribe down below. It don't cost you a dime. It just helps us spread the word. Helps us get our name out there. So, y'all have a good week, a good weekend. We hope y'all enjoyed this video. And as always, Jesus loves you. No matter how hard things get. If you're sitting in your office and you're stressed out, turn to him. Say a little prayer. He can make changes. He made a change today. I asked him this morning to make sure it was sunshine and blue skies when I went to film this afternoon, and look at it now. There's only a couple clouds in the sky. It's awesome what he can do, and even if you don't think he can do it, he can do it. I promise you that. He can make miracles happen. So guys, we appreciate each one of you that watched these videos. We hope y'all enjoyed it, and we will see y'all on the next one.